Hey guys, welcome to Flashbacks. I'm Alex, and I'm once again joined by. Oh wait, hold on. Before I do that, I have a big announcement. Our now permanent third co-host.
Brady, and I'm so grateful to be on this show as a permanent co-host. I've thanked you in DMs, Alex, but I'm going to do it on recording. Thank you for having me on as the new permanent third co-host.
Of course. Like I figured, obviously, it just made sense having you on. Like you've been really helpful, so I thought like it would just be good. Also, like, just not to throw your age out there or anything, but having me and Will who have, watched the show like back when we were in college, and then having someone who is like, different like generation or whatever, like just different perspectives would be cool for this too. So I
Yeah,
thought that would
yeah,
help as
no,
well.
I don't care if my age is out there. My age, we said my age in the last episode or two
Yeah.
episodes ago. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a cool thing that I'm on now because yeah, like you said, I can give a different perspective. I only saw it when it came out on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no. I guess now is a good time to talk about this. I had a buddy on the bus in like sixth grade who was talking about, oops, sorry, something popped up on my screen. Um,
You're good.
I had a buddy on the bus who was talking about this Flash TV show, and I had only known the Flash from the Justice League cartoon. So like I knew nothing about the character other than the one episode where Green Lantern is on trial in Justice League. So
Hmm.
I went home because he was like, it's on Netflix. You should watch it. And I watched it and I fell in love with the show. I could not stop watching from episode one to episode like 25, 26, 20. How many episodes does the show have? 24?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. So from 1 to 24, I was hooked. I could not stop watching. And then I watched season 2 and 3 and then I stopped.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's definitely like one of those shows. I think that like 'cause I think I was the same as you where I actually kind of discovered the Flash from that Justice League and like the original animated series, and then different stuff like Super Friends. I think because I'm trying to think if I saw that one first. I might have because I definitely watched Challenge of the Super Friends when I was younger. But yeah, it's which is weird because I also watched. I don't think I saw that Flash Superman the animated series episode until way after the fact either,
I
though.
don't think I've seen it either. Sorry, I had an audio issue with my headphones
Oh, you're
just
good.
there.
No worries. But yeah, so I remember being really excited about the show when it initially came out. But before we get into all that, and I lose track of this, I would like to formally say here for the record that I am now part of Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Woo!
Ben, who has been a frequent collaborator on here, and I've been on his show once or twice. I am now a permanent co-host. It's really exciting. We've covered some Daredevil related stuff, and we have a lot of stuff in the works. But yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. And if you guys
Yeah.
want to, because we've done some scripts here, if you want more of that and like more of me on another show where we do cover more of those things, a lot of that stuff can be found over there. I am taking over for Andrew, who had stepped down recently, and me and Ben, me and Ben kind of are both really into Batman and some other superhero stuff, so it'll be a different flavor of superhero stuff you should know, but I'm really
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, just like as a viewer and hopefully I can be on the show at some point, but as a
Yeah.
viewer, I'm just like really invested in because you and I are friends, so
Yeah.
anything you do, I'm gonna support, but it's like it's so cool that you are the co-host of a podcast I've been listening to for the last 4 or 5 years. Like it's wild.
Yeah, no, it was pretty it's one of those things too, like obviously I was a fan of like his like Ben stuff, and still I'm a fan of it. So it is one of those things I do have to get used to saying like our show or like my show kind of thing,
Yeah,
but it's
I
it's
have
pretty
to get
cool.
used to that now with flashbacks because I used to just say the show or your show. Now it's our show or yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. But yeah, so Today we're going to talk about, I kind of alluded to it before I gotten into the new 52 Flash. Brady is showing it right now.
Yeah, I've got the cover of Volume 1, which they dubbed Move Forward.
It's a fitting title for this one. It seems to be like a theme
Yes,
of this. But this one's gonna be more laid back, guys. We kind of just read like the first we didn't read the whole volume. We read the first like five issues because it was like a contained storyline. And so we thought that would just be better for like review purposes. So this one's gonna be kind of off the cuff. Kind of we're gonna fill in gaps here or there. It's gonna be more of a discussion thing rather than like a review with like point by point coverage, basically. So, I guess
like
I'll
we
go into,
normally do with the show.
yeah, where I have like a whole list of notes off to the side. But,
Yeah, where you send me a notes page that's like 7 lines long.
that's why if you guys have ever wondered, that's why usually our stuff is like an hour long because I'm sitting here reading like a really bullet point. I should put that at one point on the Instagram thing just so people can kind of like see the
That'd
behind the
be
scenes
that'd be
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I off topic for just a brief minute. I
Yeah,
should show
sure.
you my notes I take for Tismo Talks at some point. It is long as hell, and somehow the episodes only end up being like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know how.
with superhero stuff you should know. That's why our episodes usually are so long recently that we've recorded because both me and Ben have really long notes and so like that's why they end up being over an hour, in some cases like 2 hours
Like the
basically.
most recent Patreon one of
Yeah.
Daredevil, the director's cut, where you guys went on for like 2 hours and
Yeah.
5 minutes or something.
Yeah, that uncut one that's gonna get probably like not too cut up later, but like the
There's a
most
couple technical issues that Dan will need
yeah.
to chop out.
Yeah, but definitely. The most recent one we recorded, the Patreon one, I think it ended up being like an hour and 49 minutes. So like,
Woof.
yeah. It's I made a joke that you could probably watch a movie on the side and like be be done with the
Probably.
movie the same time we're done. You'd be done
Not
with
current movies.
probably a movie like this, like
Oh, nice.
yeah, I
I
used to
don't.
have the special edition of this, but anyway, we are
Oh,
getting
nice.
so off
Oh,
topic.
yeah.
We are here today to cover one of my favorite Flash like anything. I remember when I remember when I actually first read this. I was in Barnes and Noble at like the mall, and the first thing that reached out to me was the art by Francis Manapul. I remember being really excited about the CW stuff, and so I'm like, let me read this. And I read through the whole first volume in the store. That's how like into it I
Nice.
was. Yeah, I was just flipping through it and I was like hooked. To be fair, the dialogue is the pacing's really good in this. There's not like too much dialogue, so you kind of get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I liked it. What are your memories of it, Brady?
So I actually don't remember where I got this because I buy comics from like 12 different places. I either got it at my local mall or my local comic store. I cannot remember exactly where I got it, but I remember because I was trying to get into the Flash. I was watching the show more and I was like, I wonder how all this stuff went down in the comics. And I was like, okay, I don't want to go all the way back as much as, I've talked about on here. I love the Silver Age. I don't want to go that far back. So what are some like modern Flash stories? And I think I had Aquaman New 52 or something, which I still haven't read by the way, but I think I
Sounds
had
okay.
that. Yeah, I think I had that and I was like, you know, I may as well just read some New 52 stuff because that's like the most modern you could get at the time. So I was just like, you know what? I'll get this New 52 Flash that I see on this shelf. I got it, and I only read. I was telling you this off recording, but I read to about issue 3, and then I just wanted to go and read other comics. So I was like, okay, I'll put Flash down for a little bit. I'll go read some Batman, some Spider-Man. I think I read Superman for All Seasons around that time.
I
So I
still
just
haven't
went
finished that yet.
for All Seasons, dude, it's so good. I really thought that the end was gonna be something else, but it's not. But yeah, I do remember really enjoying this book when I read it the first time.
Yeah, it's because I think I was trying to back when I did read it, I think I was trying to see basically what a Flash TV show might be like, and this isn't like in some ways it is, and we're definitely going to get into one of the main reasons we did read this is to see how because I remember Patty Spivot in this being like his girlfriend in this, and me
Yeah.
being like wanting to see like okay, let me read this, and then and see like not knowing who that was and then in season 2 when she showed up being really excited because I did remember her
Wow.
from there and yeah like I read this back before season 2 and
Wow. Yeah, we
I,
have totally different stuff on this because I read this like way after I had seen the show. So I was like, I open it and he says something in the dialogue bubble about Patty, and I was like, oh shit, she's in this?
she's different in this but we'll definitely get into
Yeah.
it so like I do remember like reading it and I get why I remembered her now she is such an interesting character in this she's different but she very much she cares a lot about Barry. Like you can, I guess we can talk about her character and then get into the story.
Yeah.
She cares about Barry like a lot, maybe more than he cares about her. Like, do you want to kind of get into that a little bit? Like,
Yeah, he seems because he meets Iris in this book too, and he seems to kind of care about her more than Patty, even
they
though
went
him and
on
Patty
one,
are,
they went on one date, remember? And
yeah,
he's clearly still, and it's one of those things. It's a problem I have. Patty is like really into him, but also feels like a realistic person where she's just like, she's kind of like there's a moment where like Iris is kind of shameless in this where she's kind of just trying to get with Barry and like be like, "Oh, ask me out on a date" and stuff like that
yeah,
even though clearly Barry is with Patty, and I'm like, the story doesn't call attention to how that's problematic, and so I guess I'm gonna give the CW season 1 Iris a little bit more of a break. At least there, it's called out a little bit more, and she kind of says like, "Hey, I'm with Eddie," kind of thing. So
yeah.
I'll give her that versus this one that doesn't seem to like what's it what do they say in The Office Michael Scott, I think, says it to Jim, talking about like she ain't
I don't
married.
watch The
What
Office.
it's he's talking about Pam. He's like engaged ain't married, bro. Is what is what he says
Oh
to
my
him.
gosh. You
Yeah,
know, the one episode of The Office I did see doesn't surprise me that he would say that.
yeah. It's The Office is a good show, but I get
I was more of
people
a Parks and Rec guy.
same creator, but
Yeah,
yeah, that show's good too. That show also, if you it's not as awkward as The Office. Anyway, but
yeah.
Patty's really good in this. She's capable. She calls people on their shit.
A
And
lot.
yeah, and she very much is like her own like character, and I really did appreciate that. She's different. She's like less like she's nerdy, but like in different ways, I guess. Like she
Yeah.
like the one in the CW show is a little bit more like how do I say like just sweet, I guess.
Yeah, like geeky is more of how I would describe Patty in the show versus in the comic. She's just kind of like an actual nerd.
Yeah, where she's just like, and also she feels like a real person.
Yeah,
And like I guess we can kind of get into like the loose story and then kind of just talk about our favorite parts and stuff like that. So the
yeah,
story overall is that like Barry finds like there's this thing with like there's some sort of MacGuffin that they have. It's like the Geonet something
hold on.
recoder.
I'm going back to find it right now.
Gotcha.
Stall for me.
All right. So yeah, they got this MacGuffin thing that he's like basically like these people break into this place that him and Patty are at. It's like these people armored up with these masks and everything, and they're trying to get a hold of this MacGuffin. And by him falling, he creates like I think he vibrates differently, and this becomes relevant later, and he like falls into a hole. That's where you mentioned earlier he meets the
Yeah.
Iris. Did you find what
Yeah.
the name was?
I can't find it right now. Uh,
It's okay. We can just call it a
yeah.
MacGuffin. But
Yeah, we'll just call it the MacGuffin for right now. But yes, he does fall into a hole and he meets Iris West because she peeks over into the hole when Barry's laying down in it and she's just kind of like, huh?
yeah. And it's just like it's one of those things too where like, I think it's right here actually. It's the portable genome recoder.
What page is that? I didn't
I don't
find
know. I
that.
just screenshot random panels.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so like as they're falling, the other reason you didn't phase through right is because this one of these like guys that are masked up like basically makes it to where he vibrates through the thing wrong and creates a hole. Also he like it belongs to Dr. Elias and he's like basically just basic superhero stuff. And then you find out that the guy who he as he was falling, he pushed through one of the buildings, the one that was fighting him earlier, is his friend Manuel, and we kind of find out or
Manuel,
Manuel, and we
one of
kind of
those.
find out it's one of his like teenage friends basically who is like the big theme with him basically is that like he's running from like
Yeah.
different things like just to kind of sum that up, and he thinks it's the original guy but it turns out it's not, and throughout
It's a
this
multiplex situation.
basically and throughout this we kind of find that Iris is like trying to write negative stories about the Flash, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, she's like the anti Lois Lane in this
She's
story.
like the anti-her in this from like the
True,
CW. She's
true.
like the opposite number because the one and the other one's a little bit more hopeful. We also do meet the police team in this. We meet Captain Fry, who's this older guy who's giving shit to
He's I sorry to
no no,
interrupt.
go
I
ahead.
did research on that character because I remember when I first read it, I was so confused. I was like, who the fuck is Captain Fry? So I went and looked it up. Apparently, he is the Joe West character in this show. He is Barry's adoptive father who was possibly having
Oh,
an affair with Nora Allen, and when Nora dies, he adopts Barry.
oh shit. Um so like that I didn't know that. So also the other thing is that like you know obviously we have like Captain Singh and everything or director Singh in this.
Yeah.
And like we also meet one of my favorite characters in this, other than Patty, I guess, is Forrest. Like he's just I like this guy. He's very just like kind of like personable. There's this part where this where like Singh is yelling basically. And he's like, so the obvious solution is to stand over me and start yelling. He's like, keep it up, Forrest.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like in general, like he just seems like he's done with people's shit. He's kind of
Singh, yeah,
go
Singh
ahead.
just doesn't take shit from anybody in this.
Yeah, he's kind of like he weirdly enough kind of looks like his like character from the show.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of close, which was kind of
Yeah.
cool to see. I
Dude,
try to
his
find the word.
suit in this is sick.
I do. I like it. Yeah, the suit is really cool. It kind of reminds me of like they were probably trying to attempt this with the Flash movie. It didn't look this cool though. Like I did like it.
Yeah, it has the reference to it with the symbol and then the lightning bolts coming off of it. It just, yeah, like you said, it doesn't look as cool in the movie. I think part of that was the helmet. The helmet looks a little too bulky in the movie,
It just
whereas
looks
this,
too rubbery.
yeah, it looks too rubbery. It has like a weird texture on it, whereas this is just like I'm trying to find a good picture of it. This is just like a straight up smooth Flash costume.
Yeah, it looks good. So anyway, there's also like another reoccurring thing where like Dr. Elias is trying to get him to like think fast, basically, like Barry, and it leads
Yeah.
to like him missing out on different things. There's also a funny line in this about him basically having like ADD from it, which I know me and
Yeah.
you both related to. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, I like
I've
that.
always
Go ahead.
imagined Barry Allen being neurodivergent in some respect. In the movie, he's definitely a Tismo, like myself. He's definitely on the autism spectrum in that movie. I don't know
Definitely.
about any other interpretations of Barry Allen, but I think they're all like ADHD, ADD, autism, one of those a neurodivergent things.
Definitely. There's also a so like we find out about the whole like at some point we find out that Manuel has been like he's a CIA agent that had been like experimented on with like Barry goes to like this farm that used to be where they were doing it and like these pigs somehow help with to where he can regenerate basically to make it simple.
Yeah.
And it like comes to a point where later on he like we find out that his dad got killed by like these plane hijackers
Yeah,
and
it's kind of dark.
yeah, and then he goes after like he joins the CIA basically to go on a revenge quest and kill all of them. And there's this funny moment where one of the mob rule people who is like one of the clones is describing him because like they eventually make clones out of him and they're describing him as Batman mixed with James Bond
Yeah, I just
basically.
turned to that panel. They say James Bond meets Batman, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Because in the New 52, Batman's been around for a long time, so that's a cool little world building detail.
Yeah, and it's like it's just funny like this definitely has like a weird mixture of like you said like dark moments but also I would describe it as kind of like MCU dialogue a little bit.
Yeah, MCU dialogue is just that much worse because there's a lot more like mischaracterization in the dialogue. At least in this, people are somewhat in character, but it's just a little jokey at times when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah. I know that there's like I don't know, like just the whole thinking fast thing. Speaking of like the future, I think that Barry like has doesn't he have well, I know you haven't seen that later stuff, but I think there is like a moment where he does like think fast actually again, but it's either that or yeah, because it makes him to where like he's an unfeeling guy because all like the probabilities and everything.
Was
And
this in the series?
yeah, later on in the series,
Oh,
and he gets to where basically like he basically goes like I'm kind of like misremembering, but like he gets to where he's like, oh blah blah blah, this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. I think Cisco's talking to him, and he's like kind of like Spock a little bit. It's that like even less feeling than that, where he's just like the probability of this happening, like that kind of thing, where everything's just
hmm.
calculations at that point.
It's like Red Tornado on Batman the Brave and the Bold, where he's like observation.
Yeah. Or Young Justice too, a little he's got a little bit more heart in that one though too, to
Yeah,
be fair.
yeah. He has a heart. It's a tin whatever alloy. He says I have a heart in the show. I just can't remember the exact quote.
That's a great show too. Somebody should because I haven't found the definitive like Young Justice. That well, you're gonna cover it soon
I
for
have
Tismo Talks.
I can send you the Young Justice podcast I listen to when we're done with this, or I can just tell you off mic.
Or the Tismo Talks could be the definitive Young Justice podcast.
True, true. I actually might do that because I can talk about cool shit when I talk about Young Justice.
It'd be another Wiseman property for you to talk about
Oh
too.
yeah. Which speaking of my Aquaman signed print from Kari Payton over there, I made sure that was in my backdrop. You can't
Nice.
really see it very well, but it's there.
Nice. So, yeah, so throughout this we kind of get like more with him and Patty. And like basically like we also go in depth of like with the guy that got thrown through the thing and it's kind of revealed that he healed like post mortem and like the it kind of gets more interesting. But to kind of cut to the chase, like Patty seems, like I said earlier, way more into him than he is to her. And there's like the speed thinking thing where he's not even paying. I was like, poor Patty, like he's not intentionally
Yeah.
doing it. He's not even paying attention to her though.
No, I just passed that panel. Where'd it go? I was just on that panel not too long ago. But yeah, he's just Barry needs to get his shit together in this book. Like seriously, he needs to choose Iris or Patty.
Yeah, they're like this moment where he's like, "Sorry, Patty, I have to go. It's urgent. Gotta go meet Iris." And she's like, "Iris? Oh, and by the way, heads up." And then like a little flower falls and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Because the bird was dropping it. Yeah, because she's talking to him and he's just like looking at a steel girder, thinking about like steel girder, a bird, the text from Iris, like a bunch of shit. While he is looking at Patty, by the way, I am holding
That's a
the panel up
gorgeous
right now,
panel, by the
audience.
way.
Yeah, it looks like one of my other favorite panels, which is this one where they are in the warehouse and he's like surrounded by the mob rule guys and you see the picture of like the flash ring and stuff when he's
Yeah.
about to take him out.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like watercolor moments in here. But anyway, going back to Manuel for a second, like he definitely is always running from his problems. There's some parallel stuff and then like just with him constantly trying to escape his problems. And there's a moment, and I don't know if it like wasn't there a moment in one of the Flash scripts similar to this with the plane where there's a plane that's
Oh,
going
in
down
the
and he
Goyer script.
yeah, he phases it through the bridge and
Yeah.
makes it land, and that definitely reminded me of that moment.
Yeah, he did that in the Goyer script. I remember because I was reading that and I was like, this sounds kind of expensive.
Yeah, well, it's because of the EMP. There's a EMP that goes off randomly that's partly like Dr. Elias's fault,
Yeah, it's
basically we
partly
find out.
Darwin's fault.
Yeah. And so it creates this like kind of like just like, powerless world. We kind of get like a Mad Max kind of vibe. Like he's
Yeah, I was thinking that like Mad Max or Dark Knight Returns and like the original Sam Hamm '89 draft as well, where they're on horseback.
yeah. We have like some lines in here like since the EMP they've entered back into the dark ages. He's driving his grandfather's Stanley steam car built in 1912, cutting edge technology. And like see, right, it's right there. Like
Yeah,
he wanted to trade something basically, and he meets up with the trickster, or like one of the
yeah,
tricksters, and then like he finds out basically he's been lured into like a trap from mob rule where they at the end of the day they just want help. They just because they
yeah,
keep dying because of their shelf life basically. Like there's something
yeah,
wrong with the clones. They have some genetic
yeah.
defect.
I was gonna say, yeah, they say it's something wrong with Manuel's DNA that they're not lasting more than a few months and they just keep dying after a few months.
Yeah. And so the because of how things are, the CCPD kind of break up and there's this great moment with them on horseback. It's Barry and I almost said Iris and Patty
Eh,
on horseback. And
yeah,
it's just like it's so cool because you could just see how comfortable she is
yeah, we
versus
both pulled
Barry
up the
here.
same panel.
Yeah. But
Bro's like trying to get his horse to stay on course. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the original, like I said, 1986 Batman draft with Sam Hamm, where he had Batman on horseback.
that would have looked terrible. I'm kind of not upset that we didn't get
I
that.
am because it led to the cutting of Robin, but also Robin made it more bloated. He fit better
That would
with
have
Batman
not
too.
fit. Like I hear
Yeah,
you. You've obviously seen the original animated.
89.
No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no.
the
The
storyboards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with Kevin Conroy and Mark
dude.
Hamill.
Yeah,
Oh
that was
my
sick.
God, it was so good. But
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah. So anyway, we Barry eventually catches up to where his friend Manuel is, like and like you kind of set up earlier. he kind of like gets Patty and Manuel out of there and faces down with mob rule, and they shoot him in the head before he
Yep.
can basically put his suit on. And the biggest fake out happens. I remember even reading this at the time. I'm like, he's not dead. Like it was one of
Yeah.
those where I'm like, I ain't
Well, 'cause
buying this.
like that's issue 4, right? I think so.
Well, let me see. That's issue three because
Oh.
yeah, because
Oh,
issue
yeah, yeah,
four is
yeah,
the
you're
next
right.
one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have you ever seen because the next one has like them going on these like kind of Jeeps, but they have like these sails on the front of them. Have you ever seen like Treasure Planet before?
Like one time when I was a child, but I don't remember any of it. I know I've
Okay.
seen it though,
Do you remember the image of like him on the little sail board thingy?
vaguely.
There's just anyway, the sail kind of reminded me of that a little bit, like
Okay, yeah.
with how it looks and everything. Or if you've seen Avatar, The Last Airbender, kind of like that.
Oh, I've
With the
seen like
same.
half a season of Last Airbender.
Bro, well, you gotta fix that.
I
You gotta
know.
watch the
I
whole
gotta
thing.
watch the whole series. Yeah, I plan to. It's just that, there was a bunch of superhero shit coming out at the time when I was gonna watch it.
Oh man. But yeah, so they're heading back to Central City. The kind of in this one they go over that backstory we mentioned earlier. There's also this other part where he was tortured by like the terrorists that had captured him, and they just cut him up into pieces, and then he
They cut his
regenerated.
freaking hands off.
Yeah, and then like he just completely regenerated. Like that's horrific. And
Mm-hmm.
he was
Like there's the one panel. Oops, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
There's the one panel where like him and Patty go into the warehouse and you just see bro like sitting on the chair with wraps over his hands, like the stubs of his arms
And
because
he's
they cut his
making
hands off. It's
jokes.
like, yeah, it's like, holy shit, dude. Like that is brutal for Flash.
Don't ask me to make a handstand. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was funny, yeah.
Yeah. I like him overall, but he is definitely and it's part of his character arc, but he is a coward in this.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like, I can't believe you basically left Barry to die there. And
Yeah.
then he's just like, it's not my fault, like we need to like it calls he's kind of misogynist in here. He calls her babe and stuff like that, and I'm just like, are we
You know
supposed to
what?
like this guy?
He reminds me of Wally in Justice League, where every time he's talking to Hawk Girl, he calls her babe. And it's like, bro, Wally, I love you, but dude,
You are
no.
not Young Justice, Wally. You're not that. Even that one kind of has
He's
that.
bad in Young Justice in the
It's
first
not as
season.
bad as Beast Boy if you've seen Teen Titans, where I'm like, bro, you need to chill.
Oh, that dude was horny. Oh my God. And I
And the
ain't just
old
talking about
ones
the
too.
Rhino form.
And the comics one, it's worse than the comics, like the ones from the 80s where he's
I
straight
think I
up.
have that.
I think he kisses like Tara's cheek and that like without her even like being like she's like get away from me or something. Yeah,
Bruh.
like it's creepy.
There's a moment like that in Batgirl Year One where her and Robin are like riding side by side on motorcycles and he just straight up kisses her. And I'm like,
Uh,
bruh, I know you're a kid, but that's not okay, man. And like in the defense of Wally and Young Justice, it gets better come season 2
they're also
because
doing a thing there.
yeah, but at that point too, it's like Wally's in college in season 2 of Young Justice. He's
Mhm.
dating Artemis. A thing happens at the end of season 2 that I won't say because just talking about it's gonna make me emotional, but something happens at the end of season 2 of YJ, and then yeah, we don't ever see Wally again.
Yeah. And then like I like how Patty stands up for herself here, because he's trying to be like, let's get out of here before this crowd turns violent. He's also talking about like how like because he has a moment where he's like, but yeah. It's like your hand. What happens? The rapid cell generation, does it hurt? He's like, yeah, but a lot less than when it's coming off. She's like, I hope it does hurt. You left your best friend for dead back there. And he's like, ouch, look, it's not my fault that the bridge is closed. We'll have to find another way out of here before the crowd gets violent. And believe me, babe, they will get violent. I've seen it before. The name's Patty Spivot, jerk, and I'm not leaving the police need all the help they can get. I don't run away at the first sign of trouble. I'm not a coward. But
Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing's like, neither am I, I'm a survivor. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's just like, you don't want to get caught up in it like Barry. It's not your fight. And then like, how could Barry been so wrong about you? And then it's like he'll be fine to know what he means to me. It's like nobody means anything to you. And then like you could
Yeah.
see that that she kind of gets to him here. Also, there's a subplot in this before I forget where Iris is in it's just this panel of her like pouting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but Iris is in like Captain Cold's like cell because she's trying to like get an interview with him, and like he just freezes her off in the cell because of during the EMP, like they escape, and
Yeah.
there's like a kind of like it's not really super important, but it is like just kind of a background thing
I think
where
it's important in the later issues, but not
the
this
rogues
immediate
get out.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also a meta in this. He does not have a cold gun. He
What do
can just
you
straight up like
what do you think of that?
I actually think it's pretty cool, because it gives him a gimmick outside of Mr. Freeze. It makes him like his own guy.
Unless we're talking
Whereas
about
like
the Batman.
true, if it is the Batman, then Mr. Freeze could do the same thing. And I haven't actually read enough of New 52 Batman to see Mr. Freeze, but I'd assume he still has the gun. But it
It's
helps.
his origin's so bad, dude. His origin
Oh,
is so bad.
oh God. Okay, but yeah, it basically, I like it. It's cool. It helps differentiate him from Mr. Freeze, other
So,
than, the fact that Snart won't kill people.
sorry, brief, because I just now that we've talked about this for 2 seconds, like brief origin tangent. So the origin of Mr. Freeze, you know how in the original it's him and Nora and he does everything for Nora?
Yeah,
In the New 52, Nora is somebody that's been cryogenically it's a dead person that's been cryogenically frozen and like it's still kind of alive, but he's never known, and he imprints this backstory on her. Never knew. Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, what?
And he
Bro.
kills his mom, like to get free of her. Like they're both on the ice. She's in a wheelchair, and he just like pushes her into like the this like like the creek or whatever. No, the pond is frozen over. He just pushes it, and she falls through the ice.
Oh my God, dude, with every word you said made that so much worse.
I said it was so bad. Scott Snyder
I
had a lot of brilliant moves, but that was not one of them.
I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, I can't believe the guy who created the Court of Owls, for God's sake, wrote that.
Yeah, it's not, and obviously it's something no one else ever went with because it was a mistake. But
'Cause it's
yeah.
stupid.
Anyway, going back to this, so ends up living, his instincts kicked in. So like there's a thing where he talks about basically like super speed helps my body, sends pain messages to my brain at such velocity that the femtosecond I feel something, I will react. I can feel the slightest changes in the air pressure around me, which pretty much makes me untouchable. And basically, what had happened was that he was thinking fast again, and he got distracted, and that's how they were able
Yeah.
to get the drop on him, basically.
Yeah, and you can see it in the panel I was showing earlier. You can see that like because it has that pink sort of hue over it when he's thinking fast and it pops up with a bunch of random images. So when he's in the warehouse just before he gets shot, he is in fast thinking mode and like all the images pop up.
So yeah, so like basically the guy Elias sets up this thing to try to fix the flaw in for like all the clones with their genetic problem. And it's like it starts like there's this moment, and I appreciate this. Barry shows up and wants to stop it, but they're like, instead of doing like most heroes would in this kind of cliche scene, he actually listens to what the doctor says Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in a lot of these, it would just be like, oh, I gotta stop it. Be like, what did you do? You destroyed it. But this one, he actually stops and listens because, like, Flash, you don't understand it's working. He's like, you're on board with this, but he doesn't do anything. He stops and like, listens to him, which I really appreciated because they could have gone the
Yeah.
cliche like route.
They kind of have that element in the show too, where when Dr. Wells tells him something, even though he may not like the guy, he still listens to him because because Wells knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And then so like it doesn't work. All of the but Barry still has to contain the blast, and what he does, like basically this creates like something with the speed force to where it like makes it to where like things from different times get pushed out at different moments, and that's kind of what leads to like them having to like I think like kill the speed force or something.
I
Like
think, yeah, I
I
think
got the
that's what it
panel
was.
because we'll get to this towards the end, but there's like a moment where hold on, I'm actually gonna look for the panel right now. Just give me 1 second. There we go. All right, we've got to destroy the Speed Force. Basically, okay, so what's happening is that he says that like he's like I don't do time travel, which was like which was like a really funny line from Barry in this. I don't know if you clocked that too.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I did, especially given the show. When I was reading that today, I was like, my ass, you don't time travel, bro.
Exactly. So he's like, you ran around the machine with such force that you sent the EMP blast through space and time. And well, you know where it landed. He's like, I need to show you something. And he has like this whole like basically I call it a serial killer like board where
A
it's like
wall of weird.
nice. But Smallville reference for those who
Yes.
haven't seen it. But a 19th century locomotive, a 2,000-year-old Roman statue, a World War One biplane, and a T-63 Soviet tank that was the first built in the 60s, all out of place in the Badlands. So like is this like, cause like earlier, is that why that is there, like the tank and everything, is because like
Yeah.
it traveled to that? Okay, that makes more sense
Yeah.
now.
I would venture to guess that like that was some time travel fuckery on Barry's part.
Yeah. So like they have basically it's like carbon dating on the tank shows it's been sitting there for 70 years. That's 20 years before it was made. All of them have the same energy fingerprint of what? Of the speed force you tap into. Every time you approach the speed of light, it appears that you cause time rifts. You create vortexes that pull things into and out of our timeline and splits them back across randomly across history. Are you saying that my powers are tearing at the very fabric of space and time? Every time you run, you risk bringing us closer to oblivion. I'm sorry to say this, Flash. We've got to destroy the Speed Force. So, like, huge stuff, and like, very, like, that kind of blew my mind. What'd you think of that moment?
Yeah. Hell of a cliffhanger. I got to that and I was like, what the fuck? No, wait. And then it just like created several hundred different questions in my brain
Yeah.
that kind of
So,
made my brain hurt.
yeah. So, like, obviously, like, that's like a huge, like, thing. So, is he gonna have to stop running, you think? Or, like, just destroy the Speed Force, maybe? Because then it would take away his speed.
Yeah, that was my thought is like if he kills the Speed Force, he doesn't have powers, or maybe they kill the Speed Force and it just takes away a subsection of his powers, but he still has the run real fast ability.
Yeah. So, really quick though, going back to earlier. So like the machine's obviously destroyed. Manuel gets mad because of all like, the clones and everything are done. He's like, basically all this is your fault, like, because they're dead. And then Manuel's arrested and he has the whole thing about like I have family, blah blah blah. That's like mob rule. So like I guess like it
Yeah.
just kind of mentally broke him or something. It was one of those where I was like, all right. Like it was like,
Yeah.
did you feel like that was earned?
Bro's crashing out and he has a reason for it.
Yeah. And then like I don't know. It was one of those where I was just like, all right. And then P poor Patty, man, like kind of a little bit before that, where she thinks that he got vaporized because of the warehouse blowing up, and then he's like, he shows up. He's like, I'm sorry, I had to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's family, and she's like, no, we're your family. You're not Iris from the CW, bro. You guys aren't family.
Nah. No, otherwise this would be really fucking weird, but it would also probably make the story a little better because Barry wouldn't seem like a douchebag for going out with Iris and Patty.
Oh, you mean if they were related?
Yeah, if him and Patty, or him and Iris for that matter, were related, it makes Barry seem like less of a douche.
Yeah. Well, I do like that. She doesn't mean like that. I was just being funny. But yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's overall I really did like the art. Like the I guess we can go ahead and go into like our favorites or the highlights of this for us. So like obviously the
Yeah.
art here is great.
Oh yeah.
The watercolors, the look of it. I have a tattoo of it for a reason. It's I fell in love with this art. I could almost see, and I thought this at the time too. I could see them animating this art style. That's how like it,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it would look great in animation, just like how the characters look would lend themselves to animation very easily.
Sorry,
But
there was a loud siren outside.
you're good, no worries. But yeah, like the art style, the writing is very like brisk. Like you get through a lot of it is visual, but like it tells you enough to where I think there was my one, and they do like correct it here and there, but like there were some points in the story where I would be lost until I kept reading because like the way they kind of introduce stuff. It kind of like it'll introduce you to something and you're like, what's that? And then like a few panels later, actually explain what it is.
Yeah, that's my one of my main things with it is like they'll introduce something and you're like, the fuck did you just say? And then you turn like a couple panels later and they're like, it's this. I'm like, you could have just said that when you mentioned it, but okay.
Yeah. And overall I do like the story. It's one of those where it's very much in line with the CW in terms of like a character from his past that he has some sort of like emotional connection to. And like it's like one of those like I could see this playing very easily into like the format of the CW with the whole like, former
Yeah.
friend kind of thing.
Yeah, other than the Captain Cold stuff, because he's way different in the show, obviously. Like we said, this version of Cold is a meta, which, yeah, fucking awesome. But I think they could have adapted this into the show and it would have fit really nicely.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, overall I liked it. I wish that I was telling you this too, like the CCPD in this, you get much more of a spotlight on them. And it kind of reminded me of the 90s Flash show with Murph and
Murph
Bellows,
and
except
Bellows,
less
yeah.
comedic. I like Forrest. I wish that they would incorporate him. To my knowledge, they haven't incorporated him into anything actually, but he's a fun character. I liked him.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe check Young Justice, but season 3 was like way after New 52 had happened, as was season 1 actually.
Oh, see,
Season 1 was while the New 52 was going, but no, he's not in that. They don't do a lot of
okay.
Flash stuff. There's like
Yeah,
one episode where Impulse comes from the future,
I
and
remember
then
that.
that's the Flash heavy episode, but that's really it.
But yeah, I overall I really like this. There's not really going to be a heart humor spectacle for this, but I do think I still because we can talk about this now. I think I while I really did like this version of Patty, I do prefer the one from the show still.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I want to say that. I like this Patty was more like attractive, like more cute to me because it's mainly just the glasses and
You like the
her
nerds,
hairstyle.
that's all that is.
Yeah, yeah, nerdy chicks, but yeah, shout out to my girlfriend. But
Oh.
yeah, the way she looks in this, I was like, "Oh, she kind of cute." And not that I don't think Patty in the show isn't cute. I just, preferred the look here as opposed to in the show.
Respectfully disagree. I obviously I like both, but like the CW one, like I kind of said, like I have like a light crush on. But yeah, like
Yeah.
It's only that like not that I don't find her attractive in other things, but like
Oh
it's
no.
it's her and that and specifically the Flash show I have a crush on. Like her and other stuff, I'm like, she's pretty, but like I don't know.
Is it because she wears a cop uniform in The Flash, my good sir?
No.
Okay, I was like,
It was
yeah.
it's the nerdiness.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes
It's the
sense.
kind of the geekiness too, and the kind of just she's a fun character in this, and like that kind of
Yeah.
infectious kind of like just I don't know. She's very like sincere is like how I would
Yeah.
kind of describe her, and like
Too
that.
bad the producers didn't like her, but we will talk about that at the end of season two, because oh, hot damn.
Yeah, we can probably talk about that whenever she exits or something. Like we could
Yeah.
maybe mention that. But yeah, like overall, I would highly suggest this if you've never read it. This is one of the few I've read some other Flash comics definitely, but this is one of the few that definitely is one of the ones I would highly recommend. This, if you're looking for a more fun one too,
Yeah.
this is gonna become a reoccurring like a drink if
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
shows this, but
Oh, God,
watch our
please don't.
episode where we recover where we where we covered this one, this classic Silver Age Flash of Two Worlds one.
Yep, that was before I was uh enacted as permanent co-host on the show, but we still had a good time with that one. I remember you were telling me because I wasn't able to finish it, but you were telling me some stuff about it, and you can see on the episode, I'm just like, what the hell?
But yeah, so like I guess like we'll go ahead and get into like like our plugs and then before I do that though, the next episode that you guys are going to see after this if everything goes according to plan, I am interviewing the VFX team from The
Ooh.
Flash. And so I'm going to have Will on there. Possibly Brady too. We'll see with like timing and everything
We'll
what
see if my
happens.
schedule allows. I work retail, so my schedule doesn't always allow for that sort of thing.
But yeah, we'll definitely see. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into my plugs, and I'll let you get into your plugs, and we'll get out of here.
Cool.
But so I'm gonna have to get used to this. So I'm Alex. You can obviously find me on here, Flashbacks of Flash Rewatch podcast, where we cover every episode of the CW show, and like we just did here, um, we covered like the comics. You can also find me on Superhero Stuff You Should Know where I co-host with Ben Wan. Thank you. And like we cover unmade scripts, concept art, nostalgic like deep dives into different movies and stuff like that. Right now we're currently doing like Daredevil related stuff. So look for Brady has the Born Again shirt.
It's not even a, it's, wait, is this from Born Again?
It
This
is the Born
particular,
Again. Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay.
that's David Mazzucchelli. Yeah, David Mazzucchelli.
Whoa, I didn't know that. That's a cool Batman connection on that one.
Yeah, that's one of my actually a hot take. I prefer that Born Again over his year one art, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just like it better. But anyway,
I have a hard time reading year one.
yeah, that's fair. But so obviously I have superhero stuff you should know. So look for me on there. And then I have Night of the Batman with my wife. We cover everything Batman related. It's a rebooted version of a YouTube show I used to do. And I have Tangential Exchange. That's gonna come back at some point. Me and Trip, um, my best friend, kind of just hang out, talk about anything, kind of drink, have fun, that kind of thing. Most laid back podcast I have. And then What Mean will eventually come back. I have so many podcasts, guys, and I am so busy, so that one will eventually come
Especially
back.
being superhero stuff you should know co-host now. You got tons more stuff going on.
If you could tell, I'm a little bit tired, but like it's definitely it's
Oh
one of
yeah.
those things where it's like I am enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I like being busy. This is the good kind of busy. But yeah, so all that being said, I will now turn it over to my co-host Brady.
Alrighty, so of course you can find me on this show. You can also listen to me talk about nerd stuff on my own show, Tismo Talks, a comic book podcast. That's a solo podcast. I recently just did a Batman Forever commentary as a tribute to the late Val Kilmer. So you can go watch the movie and listen to my autistic ass in your ears talk while you watch the movie. Um, I'm working on some stuff for my friend Minnow Bricks. I'm writing a Spider-Man Lego stop motion series right now. That's that I don't know when that will be out, but I'm also the voice of all three of the Robins in their Batman series, the Lego Batman comedy series. One just came out recently where I was Jason Todd and Nightwing in the same video. That was really fun. I got to talk to myself. Um, I'm also, and I've commented on this, I am gonna be, I can't say who. It's really
Ooh.
exciting. Alex knows who it is because I've told him before. I'm going to be voice acting for the Arkham tapes. So look forward to that whenever the new volume 3 of that stuff starts coming out. I commented on the YouTube channel for that, saying I'm a voice actor on that. So I feel like I can at least give that much information.
What is the
Uh,
Arkham tapes for people that don't know what it
so
is?
the Arkham tapes is a sort of found footage, found VHS tape, analog horror type of thing. I'm not necessarily sure what analog horror is. I'm not much of a horror person myself, but
VHS kind of like quality to it, basically.
yeah, yeah, like old found footage horror tapes. And our friend Ben is the voice of Ra's al Ghul and Batman, which is like the coolest part about it. Um, I almost just gave away a detail, so I'm gonna shut my mouth on that one. But
Oh, Tom Holland.
no, God no. But yeah, so that's fun. I've already recorded my episode for the Arkham tapes. Again, that's the thing. I don't know when it's gonna be out. Um, but when it is, I'll talk about it here and I'll even mention the character I play. And then right now, my like main squeeze, other than my Lego stop motions, which I'm not comfortable really promoting all that much yet because nothing is out. Like I've animated stuff, but there's no like trailers or anything. But
Gotcha.
my main squeeze is my gaming channel, Zurd Games, Zurdd Games. I play superhero games or just any video game I feel like. Right now, I am far enough ahead on editing that I'm on a weekly schedule every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I upload. So if you guys want to watch me play some Ultimate Alliance, Lego Marvel Superheroes, or just games with my friends, check out that channel. Um, I have a lot of fun doing that. I love gaming stuff. I just bought a new game for the channel recently, but I'm not gonna say what it is. So tune in at some point to figure out what game that might be. Um, and I
Nice.
think that is all of my plugs.
Nice. So, unless Barry unless Barry happens to destroy it pretty soon, I guess we're gonna go ahead and do our normal outro like we always do, as long as it stays intact. So,
We'll
whenever
see.
you're ready. Yeah, so
I'm ready when you are, as long as I'm not laggy.
we'll do our best. So like one, two,
Two,
three.
three.
We will
We will
see
see
you
you
in
in the
the
Speed
Speed
Force,
Force.
unless it's destroyed.
Yeah.